Hey YouTube family, Dr. Max Greenlee here. This is going to be the second episode of Pharmacist Reacts, where I dig into some of the most interesting health content I find online and break it down to learn what the pioneers in health are doing right and wrong so we know what to take away to improve our own health. This episode is about the military diet, lose 10 pounds in 3 days. If you want to watch the whole video, it's in the description below. Let's dive in.
Facts First presents The Military Diet. Lose 10 pounds in 3 days.
10 pounds in 3 days is going to be
Day
intense.
number 1, breakfast. Breakfast is one of the most important meals on this diet because it will give you the energy that you need to get started in the morning. It'll also kickstart your metabolism. On the first day, you should eat a piece of whole wheat or multi-grain toast with 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. If you're allergic to peanuts, you can substitute that with soy butter, pumpkin butter, sunflower seed butter, or bean dip. Along with your toast, eat half of a grapefruit and drink a cup of black coffee or caffeinated tea. Unfortunately, you can't add any sugar, sweetener, or cream to your tea or coffee. While you can drink water instead of drinking coffee or tea, it's not as beneficial. Green tea has properties that can help you burn calories, and black coffee can suppress your appetite.
All right, let's pause for a second and see how many calories that breakfast was. All right, so I just did the math. The breakfast is 300 calories. That's okay for breakfast. Let's see, if you're losing 10 pounds in 3 days though, it may get like not more than that for the other meals, but let's take a look and let's dig in a little further.
Day number 1, lunch. Lunch on the first day consists of another slice of wheat or multigrain toast, this time with no peanut butter. On your lunch plate, you should also add a half cup of tuna without any mayonnaise. For your beverage, you can have a glass of water, green tea, or black coffee. If you need to season your food, you should stick with pepper, garlic salt, honey mustard, or any other low-calorie or no-calorie seasoning.
All right, so let's dig into lunch. Lunch looked a little bit tastier, but it still looks like there's not many calories there. Let me look it up real quick and let you guys know. That tuna and toast is only 236 calories. It's probably going to be pretty tasty, but I imagine even on your first day, by about noon, you're probably already going to start feeling pretty hungry, but it's still looking pretty promising that you might be able to have a pretty big weight loss.
Day number 1, dinner. Dinner is the meal that most people on this diet look forward to the most. You can have 3 ounces of any type of meat that you like. Add to your plate a cup of green beans, half a banana, a small apple, and you can even have 1 cup of ice cream for dessert. This might seem like a big deal for some. However, it's very low in calories. Consuming fewer calories is what will help you to lose the weight.
All right, so dinner at least had some ice cream in it. Let's break down those calories. Dinner has 529 calories. I know that if any of you guys out there like me, if I don't consume enough calories in my last meal, I suffer from having a little bit of a hard time sleeping. And having that slight increase in calories as your last meal can make you so it's a little easier to get through the night.
Here we are, day number 2. Breakfast on day 2 is better than breakfast on day 1. Like day 1, you should start with a slice of whole grain or multigrain toast, and you can also have 1 whole egg. You can eat it hard-boiled or scrambled. If you're going to scramble your eggs, you can't use milk. You can also fry your egg. However, you can't use any type of oil. On your breakfast plate, you can also add half a banana.
All right, that breakfast actually looks kind of like the breakfast I eat all the time, so I'm not too upset about that. Let's see how many calories it has. Breakfast on day 2 is going to have 191 calories. It's not many, and a lot of times when you make breakfast with eggs, like how in the video they're saying that they want you to not use any butter or anything to grease your pan, and that is where a lot of your calories are coming from, especially if you only have like 1 or 2 eggs early in the morning. So this one's going to be pretty tasty, but you're going to be feeling it really bad by now. It's probably going to be hurting quite a bit, and most of the day you're going to be thinking about food all day.
At lunchtime on day 2, you should have 1 cup of cottage cheese. If you don't like cottage cheese, you can replace that with a slice of cheddar cheese. On the plate, you should also include a hard-boiled egg and 5 saltine crackers.
Oh, 5 saltines and cottage cheese. The lunch is looking miserable. Let's check it out and see how many calories are in it. Looks like there's 363 calories in the lunch. And there's a common theme here is that there are a little bit more fats and a little bit more proteins than a typical person has in their diet. It's still a little high in carbs for me personally if I'm on a strict diet like that, because the more carbs that you eat when you're on a really, really strict diet, the hungrier you feel as you go through it. That's not many calories and that lunch isn't looking too appetizing. You're probably just like hating life by now.
Day number 2, dinner. Well, this is another day where you're going to look forward to dinner all day long. On your dinner plate, start with 2 hot dogs without the bun. You could also add a half cup of carrots, a cup of broccoli, and half a banana. Your vegetables should be boiled, steamed, or eaten raw. Your meat should be baked or grilled. You can even have a half cup of vanilla ice cream for dessert. If you're getting tired of vanilla ice cream, you can substitute it for a half cup of apple juice or a cup of vanilla or strawberry-flavored almond milk.
That dinner is looking an awful lot like a middle school cafeteria lunch. Not super appetizing, but I imagine by this point in time in your 3-day diet, you are looking forward to those hot dogs and just absolute blandness that they're serving up. So it looks like day 2 dinner only has 344 calories, still pretty low, but at least there's some flavor differences in there, so your taste buds will at least get a little excited. For me, 344 calories is the last meal of the day. I would definitely personally be having sleeping troubles, but you would probably already see a huge result on the scale by now.
Day number 3, breakfast. Finally, day 3, it's your last day. Your breakfast plate should include 5 saltine crackers, 1 slice of cheddar cheese, and 1 small apple. If you're tired of saltine crackers, you can replace them with a rice cake for each saltine cracker. If you're not a big fan of cheese, you can replace that with a piece of ham, an egg, cabbage, or soy cheese. Also, be sure to drink your green tea or black coffee.
All right, so the last day's breakfast, super lean, but at least it gives you some options if you want it. Let's break down the calories for their first choice. It looks like day number 3 breakfast is gonna have 254 calories. It's getting a little bit leaner and leaner each day, but by now you're definitely gonna see quite a huge result on the scale. And after we finish day 3, I'll break down what you're actually losing on this kind of diet. Losing 10 pounds in 3 days this way is not exactly what you guys may think it is.
At lunch, on this 3rd day, it's going to be quite small. On your plate, you should have a piece of whole wheat or multigrain toast and 1 hard-boiled egg. If you're getting bored with the eggs, you can replace that with either a cup of milk, 2 pieces of bacon, or a chicken wing. The reason you're consuming less food is that you need to gradually reduce the number of calories that you consume so that you can lose more weight.
Day 3 lunch, piece of toast and an egg. That is lean right there. But I imagine by this point in time in the diet, whatever you get to put in your mouth, even if it's a glass of water, you're probably grateful for it. Very, very grateful. That piece of toast and eggs can only give you 138 calories. It's gonna be just enough to take a hint of the edge off and nothing more. Like nothing at all more. Let's see what's happening for dinner.
And finally, dinner on the 3rd day. It's your last meal on this diet. On your plate, you should have 1 cup of tuna, a half a banana, and a cup of vanilla ice cream. Sorry, this time, no substitutions available.
Day 3 dinner is super lean. Luckily, it's the very last day of the diet and the last meal, so all you gotta do is make it through 1 night of sleep after this, but it's gonna be hurting quite a bit. You're gonna be super hungry by now, and it's not gonna feel that great. But let's see how many calories you got in your last meal of day 3. Looks like that last meal is 393 calories. We're going lean, lean, lean. I think one of my buddies was telling me once, my buddy Sean, he was saying that he's been on this diet before, and it hurts as much as you would think it would hurt, but it does work.
Additional tips for you. This military diet, it can help you lose 10 pounds in 3 days. Now, if you don't lose your desired amount of weight, well, you should diet for these 3 days and then take 4 days off, and then you can do it again until you reach your desired weight. Since you're taking in minimal calories during these 3 days, you need to avoid any intense workouts. A 30-minute walk, that's all you need. In fact, it might be all you can handle.
They're pretty right about that. You might not be able to handle an intense workout. I've gone on diets with this level of calorie restriction before and was still able to lift weights and surf. However, moving besides that was almost impossible. Luckily at the time I had a desk job. So I got to just work behind a computer while I was having a growling stomach.
You should also avoid snacking in between meals. If you want to be successful on this diet, you have to stick to only the 3 specific meals each day. Sneaking
All right, let's wrap it up right there. So they're saying that you shouldn't be snacking on this. Almost all these meals are nothing but a snack anyway, so don't even think about snacking. It's not going to work if you add extra calories to it, because if you guys are anything like me, I could probably triple the calories of this entire day with one snack. So stick to the diet as is if you want maximum results. So what I wanted to go over with you guys with this kind of diet, likelihood is if you weigh yourself before you start this diet, and then by the end of the diet, you're probably actually are going to lose 10 pounds. But let's do the math to see how many calories you're getting per day and what kind of calorie split that is, and I'm gonna break it down a little bit further for you guys. All right, so I did the math and I have it written down here. On day 1, you got a total of 1,065 calories, 100 grams of carbohydrates, 47 grams of fat, and 80 grams of protein. So what I've discovered, and people I've done diets like this in the past have discovered, is that when your carbs are really low on a super calorie suppressed diet, you tend to feel less hungry. However, you also have less energy. So it's a weird combination of a mix. It looks like they're keeping you at 100 carbohydrates, which is going to give you a little bit more energy, but you're going to feel super hungry with that kind of load. But let's take a look at day 2 and see if that changes at all. All right, so just did the math on day 2. It looks like you're getting a total of 898 calories, 81 grams of carbohydrates, 43 grams of fat, and 51 grams of protein. It looks like on day 2, your protein's dropped a little. That's usually gonna make you feel even hungrier, but your calorie total also has dropped a bit, so you're gonna be bleeding off weight at this point in time. Day 3, you're at 785 calories, 74 grams of carbohydrates, 27 grams of fat, and 61 grams of protein. This calorie split is more traditional to what I usually recommend for this kind of diet, because with that kind of calorie split, what you'll find is that you won't have as much energy, but you won't be as hungry. And if you're not as hungry and not tempted to cheat, you're more likely to stick to the diet and have success with it. What I have to say overall about this kind of diet is this kind of diet is going to take 10 pounds off on the scale. But what's going to happen is a lot of us, like when we go throughout our day, if we're not counting calories and paying really close attention to everything we eat much more carbohydrates than this. And as you eat a lot of carbohydrates, what's going to happen is you're going to be bloated with a little bit more water, because for each molecule of carbohydrate, you're going to need about 8 or so molecules of water to help support it. And so what's going to happen on this diet as you decrease your carbs is you're going to also sweat out, pee out, or get rid of that excess water that you had supporting the carbs that were in your system. And so I would say that most people, when they do this kind of diet, about 75% of the weight that they're going to lose is going to be water weight, and it's going to come back. The coffee and green tea are going to help with calorie burn, which is going to give you a little bit of artificial caffeine buzz energy and a little bit of that green tea recharge energy, which is great on this kind of low-cal diet where you're going to feel pretty daggum depleted the whole time. So overall, this diet's going to work quite well. If you have 10 pounds overall to lose, one of the tips that I'll give you trying to lose it in this way is, like I said, it's not all going to be fat. But if you just want to have that 10 pounds off the scale for anything that you're trying to do that requires you to be lighter, is on day 3, around lunchtime, you're going to start decreasing the amount of liquid that you consume. You won't need quite as much water in your system to maintain the same hydration level. And so if you minimize the water starting around lunchtime, by the morning after your 3rd day, when you hop on the scale, your weight will be way down. And you're probably going to look pretty lean and good. The bad thing about this kind of diet is that if you increase your carbohydrates back up to where they were, within like a day or so, it's going to look like you gained almost all of it back. But you will have made some positive progress, but I wouldn't expect to have lost more than maybe 3.5 pounds at most, depending on where you started at. Some people may experience a true 4 or 5 pound fat loss, but that's only if you have a lot of weight to lose. If you don't have a lot of weight to lose, it's not going to be pouring it off quite like that. Overall, I give it 2 thumbs up for what it is. It's gonna work for almost anybody that tries it. It's calorie deficit. You're gonna lose weight. Most of it's gonna be water, and it's gonna be pretty effective for that weight on the scale, but it may not be as effective at keeping you lean and mean like you probably want to be. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button. I put out new videos each and every week to help all of us stay in the best health possible. Stay healthy, stay happy, stay curious, and as always, have a beautiful day.